Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill, and this is the Jack and Jill Show 2. With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about why fees and commissions are deal killers.
I promise I won't rant.
I promise. I wrote that title. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Okay. Bart asks, I have a lead from California, and I did some research and found out that he is 1 out of 3 that own the property. How do you guys normally handle these types of leads? I'm going to say deal, especially if they are in different locations. Oh, this is hilarious. Is this deal dead? If not, are there any issues I might run into? Well, this is not hard.
There's 2 types of transactions, 2 types of situations where you find multiple ownership, specifically in California. For the rest of you out there, you don't have to worry about this as much. There's the real way, the good way, where there's 3 people on a deed. Let's say it's, 3 business partners, 3 companies, a man and wife and a child. And so that's all good when you're all sitting there looking at one piece of paper and there's 3 names on it. The second situation, which you don't really have to worry about in most of the country, I think Texas and California did it for a while, is where each owner has a separate APN, assessor's parcel number. If that's the case here, it's called an undivided interest. If that's the case, run from the deal.
Was that set up so they could at least collect taxes from the whoever would pay?
I honestly can't answer that. I've looked into it pretty heavily.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out why would you do that?
I don't know what got in the mind. Whose brainy idea it was to assign separate APNs.
Like you and I own the property together, and instead of making one APN when it's you and I, it's like, well, Jack, you're 105, 102, 301A, and I'm such and such B, and then we each get separate tax bills cut in half. That's just got to be a mess.
So the truth of it is, this comes up so infrequently that it almost doesn't warrant really even talking about it. It came up pretty extensively in the last show, or the last Thursday call that we did, where we answer all these questions. So I'm getting concerned now that we're talking about it too much. And I just don't think it should get that much attention.
I'm assuming this is the first one. So
okay,
can
good.
I answer the question?
So let's assume that.
Because this is really how it normally goes.
We're at like 99.9% of the time.
So say it's 3 brothers. This is when I run into it. It's often siblings. The parents did this and they passed, like the parents were getting older, so they passed the property on to the siblings, and instead of picking one, they put all 3 names on it. Very common.
Very common, yeah.
And one lives in California, one lives in Montana, one lives in Florida. It's that kind of a thing.
One went to college and he's doing really well as a dentist. One loves hookers and 8 balls and lives in Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
And what's the third one do?
The other Daryl?
The other brother Daryl.
The other brother Daryl? Oh my gosh. I don't know. And he's a bartender. So anyway.
Why is it always like that with families?
I don't know.
There's always good kids and bad kids.
Our families aren't like that. I was having a discussion with that the other day, by the way. Your sister is very successful. My brother, quote unquote, we don't want to, just kidding. No, my brother's doing all right. Last time I checked. So I don't think it's that way. So can I answer the question now?
Yeah, I still wonder though.
Yeah.
Like our kids are real different.
Oh yeah. Now with our family, it's all going to go sideways. So that will happen. So anyway. Okay, so here's the deal, Bart. Not a problem. Well, it can be a problem. The first thing you have to do is figure out if they're all on the same page, because often in this situation, this is when you run. If you're talking to the one brother and he's still convincing the other 2 brothers that they need to sell, forget it, move on. Because if he's can't convince them, or you need to get involved to convince them or anything, forget it. Just move on. It's not worth your time. Now, if they are all in the same situation, like I've said, I've been in this predicament. Now the holidays are coming. This is what I've really done. I've actually said to people on the phone, all right, are you all going to be together for Thanksgiving, like at mom's house? And I can have a notary, I kid you not, come on Thanksgiving Day if we have to. And you guys are all together. You can all sign at the same time and get a check.
And that's
the best case scenario.
Is true deal making right there.
Thank you.
It's not finding great properties or opportunities. It's all that stuff is all very mechanical. But what Jill brings to the table, and a lot of our members do, and I specifically do not bring to the table, is this talent of bringing people together and making them happily sign things.
Thank you.
I
Thinking
mean
outside
that,
the box.
Jill, it's a huge compliment.
Thank you very much.
We deal with this successfully every
Thank you.
week. Every single week in our acquisition effort, there are multiple people. We try to get them together, and it's a talent.
Thank you. So that's my first choice. Now, if that cannot happen, here would be my backup plan. I would have the deed make the way across. Well, you could do separate deeds, but I still like to keep it all on one deed. I don't want to have separate pieces of paper flying around with signatures.
When she means separate deeds, she means a deed in counterpart.
Right.
It's the same document, but it's got different signature blocks, and that's beyond the scope of this. But
Right.
go ahead.
So I'm going to make it really easy for Bart, because this is not crazy. Say this is deal number 3. You could literally have the deed make the way around the country, and then the last guy gets a check. Or if they're really cool, because you're cool, obviously, letting the deed make the way around the country, you could say, look, when I get the signed deed back from all 3 of you signing it, I'll wire the money wherever you guys want, make it real easy and make it fast. And, I'll pay the $25 wire fee or whatever it is. So that's what I would do. You want to make sure they're all on the same page, number 1, and then have a conversation with how can we get this done. And the more you help them and make this easy for them, and you're understanding about the situation, then the more they want to sell to you, and you might be the only person that's willing to do this for them and with them. So that's why they're going to close the deal with you. So thank you very much.
Here's how I've had a lot of experience failing at this situation. Hire a notary to do this hire a title agent to do all this for you. And you know what they're going to do? Shove it at the bottom of the pile and hope you forget about it. Mm-hmm. It's very, that's why we started TitleMind. Mm-hmm. Because to solve these types of problems for people.
That's very true. Exactly. Yeah, TitleMind can help. If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landinvestors.com.
Today's topic, why fees and commissions are super deal killers. This is the meat of the show. Where do I start on this topic? Who should go first?
Oh.
I got story after story after story of people who are motivated by fees they just don't care. You have to. This is a true buyer beware situation. You really, as an investor, have to micromanage people's malarkey. Real estate agents, fees, even fees were to close deals for title agents. Jill and I recently started a company called TitleMind.com. This is not a commercial. And we did it because of my personal 2-decade disgust with how much title agents charge and how much it actually costs. I'm not knocking title agents. If you've listened to any of these shows, I think they're the ones who close deals. But I think it's disgusting how much they charge.
Well, the other thing is you can't get title agents to do what you really want them to do. What if you only want escrow?
Yeah. You can't. I've spent 20 years trying.
Because they want the other fees.
Right.
They won't do it. They can do it, but they refuse to.
I mean, until we started this, title drives the industry. Insurance. It's an insurance company. Mm-hmm. So because it's so profitable, they tell escrow what to do. Well, enough is enough.
What's so funny, too, when you really sit and read the title policies and you read what they're covering, you're like, really? All you really did was cover that the guy signing the paper is the right guy. You're still not verifying. You're not promising ownership was right. You're not promising this or that. It's quite funny. Am I right?
I could not agree more. Yeah. I'm just reeling with which story to tell first.
Oh. Like I lost you, Jack. Where'd you go? So too funny. All right. So why fees and commissions are deal killers? Ready? Go.
What the heck is that? You're shoving this back on me.
Yeah. You have all the stories.
You can take, did you ever buy a new car or even worse, like an ATV, right? And the ATV costs $5,000 or $10,000, let's say brand new. And then by the time you're done with it, it costs $18,000.
I know.
It's all fees and commissions and insurance and warranties and all of that stuff. And it's
What's
all
the delivery
there.
fee? Why do I have to pay the delivery fee? Because you had to deliver it to your place anyway.
Real estate's the same
heck is
way.
that?
So if you go to buy a house, you get a mortgage like a normal, regular old, everybody's told you to do this your whole life, including your parents.
Yeah.
You go to get a mortgage, and the mortgage guy is going to say some version of this. Well, don't worry about the fees and commissions and stuff because you're just going to finance it. So if your payment's
let's roll it all in.
$1,200 for this house, it's only going to be $1,250 for 30 years.
Yeah, no big deal.
Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
An extra $1,000 is what, $10 a month or something?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is.
Something
So they're going to say, like, they're going to go, oh, well, big deal. I can afford that.
And then real estate commissions are, and if you're not, as a listener, outraged, I mean, floored and outraged by real estate commissions, then there's something wrong. Like, there's probably a different podcast for you. So all these things for us add up to just killing the deal. I mean, I've walked away from multiple, many transactions until we actually figured out the right way to avoid all these fees and commissions and really dug into it. That's what this whole land investors group that we have is all about.
Bingo.
It's about thinking out of the box and completing a transaction, and it's only cost to buy a piece of real estate only costs $500, and that's how it should be. I mean, I don't care if it's $1 million asset.
I'm not going to do it.
$500 or $600 is what it should cost to close the deal. Does that mean you can walk away and go to the coffee shop and forget it, which is what most people do? No, you really have to be responsible about it and look at it and review it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm telling you, I mean, it happens. People will come to me often with deals like, hey, I found this deal, da-da-da-da-da. And the broker says, and I go, you can stop right there.
Me too. I do the same thing, Joe.
Absolutely. They're like, what? But it's fantastic. No, it's not. It's not that good because he got there first. I want to get there first. And they go, really? I'm like, yeah, I really, really mean that. If you bring me a deal with a broker involved, I'm not going to do it. No, the only kind of deals I do that involve brokers are the ones that the broker says, I don't want it. It's too small. Take it. It's yours.
Right. And
I get those all the time. So when you get into, that's the thing. When there are, brokers out there, they only want the big deals, and I would too. Then it's worth their time. But I'm not going to do those deals. But I do have a lot of broker friends that they get deals all the time, and they know that they can just pass them to me. At least they can tell, because then they can at least tell their client, look, I'm not going to be involved in this one, but I will help you out. Call this person. Right. This is what they do. They'll buy it from you, kind of thing. And then they send it to me. I think it's fantastic. And it's goodwill for the broker because a broker knows that when the guy does have a big deal, they will call him back. Mm-hmm. So we kind of help each other that way. And it's funny because I'm always having this conversation with these friends and with these brokers, and I'm like, okay, come on, Mark, you could be doing this. Why are you not closing this deal? Like, I don't even want to go there. I'm like, you could buy this yourself and flip it. I'll show you. A couple of them, we have a nice relationship. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'd just rather give it to you. I'm like, okay, thank you.
The reason this is so prevalent is it's just happened since the 50s, probably earlier, because it has become commonplace. Well, where do you buy a car? Oh, you go buy it at a dealership. Really? Is that where you buy a car? No. Where do you buy a house? Oh, you go to talk to your sister, the real estate agent. She's got a bunch of them. Really? Is that how you do it? No. It's so my point is it's because it's a combination of habit and ease. It's easier to pick up the phone and say, hey, will you sell my house? Yeah. Oh, sure.
That's true.
And then because they can get away with it, they just do nothing. They take, as Jill says, they take pictures of the house with the toilet seat up.
I hate that.
So
that drives me so bad.
Here's the silver lining or the good news. We have the internet now, so wouldn't it be great if you just pull up an app and say, you know what, I really do want to sell my house. I'm going to press this button, and it costs $300 or $400, and everybody in your immediate area gets a note in the mail that says,
wouldn't that be magical?
We're selling the house for X amount of money, and we're going to sell it on Sunday. So come by and check it out. And all the rest of the details will be taken care of then. That's how it should be.
Well, and I want to properly convey, too, the whole thing is, look, there are no agents involved, so we're both going to win. The buyer, I'm selling it on my own, so there's no commissions.
There's a bunch of people listening to this right now. I've heard this argument from real estate agents my whole life. Oh, if I wasn't involved in this transaction, it would have never closed. The buyer ran into all kinds of issues with the physical plant, with the actual asset itself. The seller didn't like the price or the buyer from the beginning. And you know what my answer is? Hey, ding dong real estate agent, that deal shouldn't have closed. If they all had those issues, those are material issues.
That's true.
If I think the buyer of my house is a whack job, you know what?
then
I'm
we
not
don't
gonna
want
sell
to.
it.
Exactly. That's fine. You want out.
If the buyer has real severe issues with
thank you,
with the
Jack.
roof,
That's a good
those are real
point.
valid points. Maybe that house is not for them.
Well, it's like what we do every day when my team, when people are calling about to buy a property, if it's not the right property for you, or even, whatever it is that we've got going on, then that's fine. I'm not here to talk you into anything. I'm here to solve a problem. If it's not the thing for you, then fine, move on. I'm not going to waste my time. And I don't want you to call me back 6 months from now ticked off. No.
Anybody who listens to the show at all regularly knows that I have my roots in the beginning are in commercial real estate as a broker and in accounting. Mm-hmm. And so I just have story after story of people, commercial real estate, huge commercial real estate deals that should never have closed, but did because the broker was, for lack of a better, pushing it through. They're
it.
Just at every step of the way, solving some kind of thing. Well, we can bring this, and all they were doing was trying to get their fee.
Yeah.
They did not care about the deal.
Got it.
And to this day, if you ask them, they're not. They're being, what do you mean? They don't
even know. It doesn't cross their mind.
Yeah, just like the example you just gave of the real estate agents that send you deals because they don't want to do them. Mm-hmm. I'm baffled by that.
Right.
The fact is, they don't know how to do them. That's what it comes down to.
They're good at their thing, and that's
or are they?
Maybe that's true. Or they're complacent.
My sister was number 2 or 3 in sales volume in Michigan. I think number 2 in Michigan and like number 12 in the country last year for sales volume. And so this is a conversation I had with her recently. Have you ever recorded a deed? And she looked at me like cross-eyed and said, my sister.
Right.
Why would I ever record a deed?
Right.
No, I'm not knocking her or anybody else. I'm just saying she's never really done a real estate deal.
Oh.
Here's a real estate deal. You have a seller staring at you. You're the buyer.
That's funny.
And the seller says, I would love to sell you my house for $32,000 or $132,000 or you name it. And you as the buyer say, great.
Let's go down.
Come with me.
Follow me. We're going to go down and get all the paperwork going.
Jill and I recently bought a boat just like this. Mm-hmm. First, we're going to go to the bank and get a cashier's check. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to go to the DMV and get this thing signed over and recorded. Mm-hmm. Plus or minus. And so that's what you do. Then, and you create the deed in the car on the computer. Mm-hmm. You look the stuff up yourself. You go into the recorder. Bang, bang, bang. Couple of stamps. You get a book and a page number.
Dude, we should do this.
And now you own a property.
Do you know what's funny?
And that, my friends, qualifies you as actually doing a real estate deal.
We should do that with them. We should do that right now with
how much that whole thing costs you? The price of a cashier's check and the price of the recording fees. Maybe $50 together.
Okay, wait. We should totally, this would be the coolest thing to film and show this whole thing. But make it a SFR.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. That would be the funniest thing. Film it, record it, and watch us all going down and have it recorded. I bet the recorder would be like, well, who are you? What are you doing? They're like, yeah, I'm just signing this over. Here you go.
So half the people that are listening to this are rolling their eyes and they're saying,
this can't be done.
Oh, my God. No, they're not. No, they're saying, it's possible. Why would you ever buy a house without title insurance? You're insane.
Because I know
you need a title policy to ensure the validity of that title. So play along with me here.
Okay.
You know what? I actually believe that. I believe that you may have made a mistake. Maybe there's some material thing with the title policy, but it all can be corrected.
Well, I just say, do you personally do your due diligence ahead of time, and then I don't worry about that.
Jill and I are licensed providers for the 3 major data sources, assessor data / title plants that are online.
We have mortgage data. We have it all.
DataTree, Title Pro 24/7, and RealQuest. 99.999 and lien reports and all that stuff. All the information you need that a title person is going to look at is at your fingertips to look at that stuff. And it's not expensive. Maybe $20 to pull a real report in a situation I'm talking about.
Funny?
Plus, hold on. There's no reason you can't go back after that deal, after the whole deal's done, and go get title insurance anyway.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah. I am a little heated about this.
You are. I love that. So why? Okay, people think that looking at this, it's not that hard. Do you know, when you stare at a deed and you really read it, it's not that hard. I almost think it's the same as, or easier, I think, than looking at the back of the form for the motor vehicles when you're doing a car. I can never figure out where I sign. Do I sign this one or do I sign that one? You know what I mean? Does it have to be in front of them? Is it within a 30-day thing? It's so relaxed. It's not a big deal. It's the same thing. And even, checking title on a house is like going back through Carfax and seeing,
That's all it is.
It is a third
It's
owner of the
report.
car. It is the same thing.
Jill well said.
Thank you.
It's like reading a case history.
And you can see, it was in an accident. Okay, I got that. It's the same thing for a home or just a property. It's not crazy. It's not hard. You get in and you'll figure it out. So, and you can do this stuff. So the underlying theme is, for me, why we're here, which is we really want to change real estate and let everybody know it doesn't have to be that hard and you can do it and that expensive.
I'm not here to preach and say you should go buy a house this way tomorrow. Not at all. What I'm doing is raising awareness and just letting everyone know that, you have choices. Mm-hmm. You don't have to use a real estate agent. I mean, on a $100,000 house, by the end of the time that the buyer and the seller and all the fees that happen, you're going to pay into close to $20,000, 20%. And I'm not just talking about real estate commissions. I'm talking about all kinds of mortgage fees and things like that are associated with that. Or you can spend $200 or $300.
Exactly.
So all I'm doing is raising awareness, and letting you know what's possible.
Yeah. You doing a little bit of work. If we sound
angry about it, and we've gone over time, and we have, it's because we are.
Yeah. You don't even have to do any more work. I am thinking, even as the buyer or the seller, you're still going to get involved in the transaction. You need to. There's always going to be paperwork and things you have to put in. So
here's the other thing. So think about it from a seller's perspective. They get a letter, right, from us, and it says, if you want to follow me around, go to my bank and then go to the county. This is an exaggeration. We never go to the county.
Right.
But if you want to go to the bank and sign a document and spend spend an hour in a coffee shop with us, we will buy your house.
Right.
We'll buy your piece of property, your land.
Exactly.
You can do that, or you can call a real estate agent and have 6 or 17 conversations and then list it for sale, and 6 months later wonder. Mm-hmm. I mean, from a seller's perspective, well, let's say you're a busy housewife. Would you rather push a button on your phone and have all this stuff go on for you for $1,000?
Right.
Or have to clean out the garage?
I want to clarify one thing too, because the reason this is this way, like a lot of people think, well, okay, I want to close my own deal. This is their first thought. So I need to go I want to buy my own next house. Okay, so most people think that, I guess I need to become a licensed realtor so I can do this. Seriously.
I know. I'm not.
That is legit.
I totally agree.
Because that's the only way I'm going to keep the commission if I'm the agent. But that's not true. You don't realize that. You don't have to take that. Now, getting the education is never a bad thing. Always good to have that education. But the only reason you would need to be a licensed realtor is if you're representing somebody else. You're not representing anybody else. You're representing yourself. You're buying your house for yourself. So just like, FSBO used to be a word. FSBO was not... Everybody knew what FSBO meant, I feel like, in the 80s. But now it's not used that much. And I think, isn't that funny?
It's probably created by real estate agents, because FSBO is for sale by owner. What you're really doing is acting as your own real estate. Mm-hmm. Do you want to do that? No.
I do.
You want to press a button on your phone.
Well, that too.
But
then you're still doing
all this stuff in motion.
It's still a FSBO. It's not an agent.
And somebody handles the whole thing. They're not representing you. They just handle the paperwork. That's really what goes on.
What are you talking about? Like an agent? That's what an agent does? Okay, wait. You're getting me confused. So hold on. Okay, so Jack, because I'm sure I can go on any realtor website right now, put in my address I want to sell, push a button, and I'm going to get a phone call from an agent, and they're going to take it over. That's not what we're trying to say.
Not at all.
What Jack's saying is we want to develop a product where you decide you want to sell your house.
We are developing that product.
Right. And you can go online, and with a push of a button, we post it for you. You are selling your house. There is no agent. It's like we'll have like a title person assigned to help you, or an escrow person and help you with the transaction the way it should be. But there's not, and it's like a flat low rate because we're doing some paperwork for you, big deal. But you're still selling your own house.
That's
you're
right.
still doing it.
Yeah, we're not.
And there's no commission.
You. But a lot of people are going to magically show up at your door. We're not going to talk to them ever.
Right.
People will magically show up at your door with offers.
If you want.
Or you can pay us or somebody, but we are not representing you. We are not earning a commission. It's a flat rate. Choose which offer you'd like, sign it, and we'll process the paperwork for you like any other title agent.
Right. It's like I'm just helping you fill out the paperwork. That's kind of it. And and it will be.
And we're sending a bunch of mail out on your behalf with with your signature.
This is 6 months out, I want to say.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the IT piece of it's done.
That means
it's the legal piece.
8 months
there's
out.
Issues. Yeah. No, I'm not
Just
saying.
kidding.
And, this may or may not, under our umbrella of companies, ever come to fruition. We don't know.
Right. But the
I'm
point
just
is,
saying,
you have options, like Jack says.
To bring this full circle, fees and commissions kill real estate deals, and they keep people. Most importantly, they keep a lot of would-be real estate investors out of this industry because of just the bad taste that they get in their mouth because they did a real estate deal like their parents did.
Thank you.
That's the real tragedy.
That's true.
So my whole point to all this incredibly long show and potentially boring show for some people.
Potentially.
Is
actually.
It's a boring show for Jill, for sure. Is, think out of the box. That's all.
Yep.
Lots possible.
Awesome.
Join us in the next episode where we discuss Jill's #Stay Motivated group for women.
Oh, yes. And we answer Sophie's question about buying back tax properties in Colorado.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Well, good. I guess we got that off of our chest forever.
I hope so. So yeah, I like to. I want to make sure that everybody understands what the new product is. It's not like we're an agent.
It's not even our product.
Not even that. Not even. It's our.
This may or may not ever come to fruition with us.
Okay.
I get people asking me about it every week.
Right.
And it's a massive undertaking. There's huge legal issues that
I honestly see this way down the road.
Me too.
That someday some bigger entity is going to come to us and say, we need your expertise to make this happen. We know you guys know how to do it, and we'll fund it, and you guys just consult or something. I might do that.
Yeah.
We'll see. Let them
exactly.
pay for it. Hey, like our show? Please subscribe and rate us on iTunes or wherever you are listening.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We are the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land.
for half price just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.